So I watched Peacemaker episodes 1 through 3, and I'm late to this video, but oh well, whatever, it is what it is. But I'm really enjoying this show so far. So this is obviously a spin-off from the Suicide Squad, which not a ton of people watched, unfortunately, and I also thought that was really good. And one of the things that really surprised me about that show was how much I liked John Cena in that film as Peacemaker. He's never really impressed me in his dramatic roles. He's been pretty funny in some things, but he's never been a great dramatic actor. But in Suicide Squad, there were some moments where he had to portray like genuine emotion, and he did, surprisingly enough. Um, that being said, even then, I wasn't like sure if he was ready to lead a show, but I can say that, yeah, John Cena is now at the point where he can be a leading man in the right role, which this is. And so, yeah, Peacemaker, he is an absolute just terrible human being, but he sort of has these sort of glimpses of hope as far as him potentially being redeemed, which we're probably going to see in this show, right? And yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that I like most about him is that they are just completely unabashedly just portraying him as, not necessarily racist, but definitely like misogynistic and just being kind of an asshole, and them just front forward just throwing that at you, but then giving you those little hints of, him not wanting to be seen that way, and him being just sad about his social inadequacies. Like, all of that is really great. And so yeah, I'm really digging the characterization of Peacemaker. And I'm also really enjoying the supporting cast. I think they're all either, funny or just genuinely engaging as characters. Um, and yeah, so all of that I'm really enjoying. The action is honestly like pretty pretty great. Like, it's obviously not film. It doesn't have a massive budget, but just the creativity of what they're able to do is pretty impressive. Like, having John Cena just be in his underwear and fighting some lady that he just had sex with is just entertaining, right? and it's and like that scene had, the build up to it had a ton of tension, and it's stuff that's really well done. Like, I think a lot of people, like, they looked at Hawkeye, for example, where they're like, oh well, the action is bad, but they don't have the budget of the movies. But it's not the matter of budget, it's a matter of just going out and just being creative with it, right? Like, Daredevil has the best action in the MCU, but that show definitely didn't have a massive budget, so it's just one of those things that I kind of noticed in comparison to a lot of like the Disney Plus shows that haven't been really impressing me as far as action is concerned, where I'm like, no, you could and should be doing better. And I think Peacemaker kind of proves that. But yeah, and so I'm also definitely I was also like kind of surprised at sort of scope that the show is going for, where I was expecting it to be a lot more grounded, but they are kind of doing a we're saving the world plot, and there are aliens, I think, involved here, and all that stuff is very intriguing to me. And I'm definitely excited to see where this goes. I wonder how far into like into the DC universe they're gonna go, because I know that they sent critics the first 7 episodes, and and James Gunn was like, no, we're not sending them the 8th one. There's too much going on in the 8th episode, and I don't want anybody to watch it. So I'm like, are we gonna get some like cameos and stuff, some wacky cameos? I wonder. I don't know. I'm definitely curious to see how far into the universe we go and what we might potentially see. But as of right now, the first 4 episodes, I think they've been really just top notch, and I'm like totally down with John Cena being a leading man, and totally down with this character, and I really want to see him grow and develop and sort of build up his relationships with all of the team members. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with the show, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Goodbye.